What's good, people? Time for another Majik review. Got a good one. It took me a while to get through this book. It was kind of a slug, even for a history buff like myself. We got A History of India by Keay. It's a pretty good book. It's a very, very good book. Even though it was a slug going through it, sometimes I had to power through it. It was a very interesting book. A lot of good, interesting facts in there, stuff that I did not know. And I've been doing other things besides reading, going out, hitting these streets, having fun. But always got to kick some knowledge. The history of India is so long, and unlike the Chinese, they didn't write a lot of stuff down. I mean, they did. They carved stuff in stone, but a lot of stuff was passed down orally. And there's a lot of mystery surrounding some of the civilizations that came before in India. The archaeologists have no clue about. They were just like buried, and nobody even knew where they came from. They still don't know where they came from. They don't know where their language is. Excuse me. And they really don't know much about it. So the real history of India really begins, the accepted history of India begins with the Aryan invasions / migrations, where the Aryans came down from the north, from Asia, and invaded India, mostly in the north. They intermarried with the people that were already there. And I didn't know this, but Sanskrit is an Aryan language. If you're a snowflake, don't read this book, because it's like, Aryan this, Aryan that, and they're like, who are you talking about? These Aryans? You mean these white supremacists? No, we're talking about ancient history. We're talking about not stuff like it's been, made up, but real archaeology, real history, stuff that's documented. But Sanskrit is one of the, if you don't know, it's one of the world's oldest languages. And most European and a lot of Middle Eastern and Indian languages, they come from the, it's called the Indo-Aryan language tree. And they all kind of like come off of that different tree. So like English comes from there, Persian, a lot of the Indian languages. It traces back to the Indo-Aryan language. They changed it now because of the association with the National Socialists about, the supremacist ideology, that it's now called the Indo-European language. They don't use the Aryan anymore because, the snowflakes might, pop a blood vessel. Anyway, we're dealing with real history here, okay? So if you're a snowflake and you can't handle this stuff, grow up, okay? We're kicking some real knowledge here, all right? And it proves to me, beyond a shadow of doubt, like this, the out of Africa theory, that, human beings evolved and came out of Africa. No. At least not like, Northern Indians and Persians and Europeans. They come from Asia, because you can linguistically track back their language back to Sanskrit, okay? So it kind of throws a monkey wrench into the narrative, the baby boomer narrative, the academia narrative that, this happened, and it's crazy. It's good knowledge. You'll really enjoy it if you're a history buff and you want to know real good stuff. It's very well written and very well documented. But this book, sometimes it had me going for a while. It's just, humans are going to human. Anytime you read history, and this book is like the epitome of it. It's just, this book is just a history of conquest after conquest after conquest, and this emperor and this little prince and this prince, they're fighting here. It's like humans are going to human. They really are. And I'm reading this stuff, all these wars and how many people died, starved to death. I'm like, bro, these people can't catch a break. I felt bad for them, But history is what it is. Humans are going to human. And it's sad sometimes. You think we could, by now, rise above that kind of behavior. But no. We're still here on planet Earth playing that game of, who's got the biggest dickus. We should have colonized the, solar system by now. But I digress. One of the things about this book that I didn't like it was hard for me, being an English speaker, and a lot of like Anglophones will have it. It'll be hard for you to keep up with some of the names because they're Hindi names, they're Muslim names, Turkic names, and they're like Maharashtra. It's like wow, it's hard, and it bounces around a little bit too. So you have to take notes if you really want to get this information. But if you just read it for pleasure, like I do, then it's not too bad. But it was kind of hard sometimes between the different peoples, the different sects, the different religious divisions they had. India's history is similar to China's in that for a good part of India's history, they were ruled by foreigners. Like China was ruled by Manchurians and Mongols, and India was ruled by Mongols, and they converted to Islam and they became like Mughals, or Moguls. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's really crazy how things work out sometimes like that. And India is not really. India is named after Indus Valley, which is in Pakistan. It's crazy sometimes the stuff you read in here. It's mind-boggling. It really is. It's fun. History is so good. Once you realize how human beings act and what their motivations are, what inspires them, and their psychology and the sociology of how people act, you're going to know what's going to happen in the future because human nature doesn't really change that much. And it's all here in this book. Thousands and thousands of years. It keeps on going back. Prehistory. People are doing the same stuff they've been doing for forever, since recorded history. Now, if you believe in like diversity is our strength and all that jingoistic, BS, the narrative, the baby boomer narrative, you're not going to like this book, okay? Because these people go at it. It's always conquest. It's like one people conquering another people, and religious division, Jains versus Sikhs versus Hindus. It's just crazy. Like if you have a whole bunch of different people, you have diversity, and you put them all together in one spot, and you think everything's going to be hunky-dory. That's not reality. It's just not. Maybe that's my opinion. Maybe, you're some kind of deity, and you can make things, magically, love, peace, and chicken grease. And, hey, believe me, I'm all about that. I would love to live in that world, we all smoke dope and fornicate and, paint little flowers on rocks and stuff like that. Hey, give peace a chance. But that just isn't the real world. Because people, they have their identities, and you'll see in this book too. They have their identities. They're born into a certain family. They're born into a certain caste. They're a Brahmin. Brahmins, you gotta look up Brahmins. These are like the original hippies. These guys just sit around all day doing humming, smoking dope, and people will give them their daughters and stuff. It's crazy. You'll like this book. You really will. But there's a lot of interesting tidbits in this book. A lot of real gems I'm not going to go into. If you want to read the book, you'll find out. Good stuff in here. Like, the British really got a bad rap, in my opinion. They didn't really set out to conquer India. They kind of got sucked in for economic interest. And, y'all remember General Cornwallis? If you're an American, you know who General Cornwallis is. He surrendered to George Washington to end the American War of Independence. And for most Americans, that's all we really hear about General Cornwallis. Well, guess what? History wasn't finished with Mr. General Cornwallis. He went back to England and is like, okay, well, you're still a general. You got to redeem yourself. We still got to put you in the field. And they put him in India, and he won. He won, yeah. He may have lost in America, but he won in India. And if you ask me, that's more of a hump, because there are far more, Hindu Indians and Sikhs and Jains and Muslims and Mughals to fight in India than there were American Indians, okay? And they had artillery, and they had rifles. They weren't just shooting arrows. They were playing with the big boy stuff. And it's this really good book. You'll enjoy it if you're a history buff. If you're not a history buff, but you just want to know about India, like you'll understand why India is today and like why Pakistan is, and you'll see what diversity leads to. Even today, they don't get along in India. They got all these different sects. They got different languages. Each state is like kind of like a European state where they have their own little history and they've got their own sets of ideas and they see the world in a different way and they fight with each other. You'll like it. It's a good book. I really enjoyed it. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Helps your boy with the algorithms. Till next time, India, A History by Keay. Till next time, people.